bad things, incongruencies between animal experimentation and then trying to have the same result with humans and a drastic, totally bad outcome. But I would say that's more the exception than the rule in sciences involving animal experimentation.
What an exception! I mean, if the exception may
The-
shed
the rule-
may shed
the-
15,000 people
The
living
rule-
horrible lives with deformities, I think that's quite a serious exception.
The rule being exactly right. The rule being, though, that many lives have been enhanced, saved, longevity because of animal experimentation.
Well, that's a perfectly respectable opinion. It's up for you to put on the scale and see what you think. I mean, is it worth the price playing these games? Assuming we're playing games, and the games sometimes go wrong, a few thousand people die, is it worth the price? In ethical theory, I would say no. In other words, the goals do not justify the means. That would be a general ethical principle, okay? But it's definitely a position for argument. Of course, we're not resolving the whole issue here in just 5 minutes, okay? This is the beginning of the issue. We know all there is to know because we are being bombarded with these arguments in favor of animal experimentation all the time, to the point that we don't even reflect on the simple fact that by experimenting a substance on some little animal and pretending it applies to a human, we are making a huge assumption. I mean, we are bombarded so much with arguments in favor of animal experimentation that we have become blind to that basic reality. Now, maybe despite that huge difference, maybe there are arguments in support. Okay? But here, I want you to be aware of the arguments against animal experimentation, rather than against the arguments that are critical to animal experimentation. Right? Okay, any other points you'd like to make? Any other arguments? Any other, how do you guys feel about animal experimentation? Dane, how do you feel about animal experimentation?
That's such a tough just subject in itself because there are so many lives that can be saved there have been the cases where there have been lives saved, and then there's the cases where lives haven't, and it's a very I'm undecided as to what really, I mean, I really don't know, because I love my dog, but if it's going to help save my life, then it's like, I don't know, maybe, I don't know.
Well, we got to be careful with these simplistic dilemmas. It's your dog or your life, or your dog of your baby. Well, be careful with that kind of a rhetoric, okay? It's never your dog or your baby. It's never going to be like that, okay?
Right. Well, here's something I do know. I think they have synthetic insulin now, which doesn't require animals. But diabetics requiring insulin to live, they don't have it, they die shortly, was processed and taken from cows. Is that animal experiment?
Well, maybe.
But what I'm saying is, some things are not polar opposites. There are some times where what happens to a mouse is not going to be the same effect on you. But here, people live because of the insulin a cow produced, and it allowed someone to live. They don't have that insulin, a diabetic will die in a short time.
Well, yeah, maybe using animals to obtain certain elements we need, it's not the same as killing them, okay? So it may make a difference. But yeah.
Well, I believe in that case, it's like there's the difference between knowing that this is going to help save your life, and then with the thalidomide, it's in theory it should work, and then you've got children who have defects. There's a big difference between knowing it's going to do something and then hoping it's going to do something. So it's that, and that's the problem with the animal experimentation is it's working on these animals, and then they give it to humans, and then it's not working. So
yeah, knowing and hoping, Stein says that's a big issue in there. Yeah. But at least it's food for thought to think that when they tell us that we are justified in experimenting on mice because their genetic sequence is so similar to that of humans. There is only this little whatever can tell you with a specific manner, this one chromosome or a few chromosomes, that our genetic sequence is surprisingly so similar to that of mice. Well, let me tell you something. If that little chromosome that's missing in there accounts for the difference between this and this, that little thing makes the hell of a lot of a difference. And it will make the hell of a lot of a difference in the way the body reacts too. Does that make sense? That's the argument, okay? Of course, this is not indoctrination, so you can think for yourselves, read more, and then come up with a balanced view of the matter. Any final questions, any final comments you'd like to make? No? Okay, well, thank you for being here today, and I'll see you next time.